Hello everyone and welcome to the chapter number 73 of the Blender Master Course, Introduction to Character Rigging. In the previous 3 chapters, we completed the modeling of our character, including its face, the hair, and the rest of the body. Then we also created the clothes for our character. And in this chapter, we'll begin with understanding the basic concepts related to rigging, including armatures and bones. And for those of you who are new to this course, you can watch the previous 73 chapters from the link of the playlist given in the pinned comment. Now the first question which arises is that what exactly is the meaning of character rigging? So character rigging is the process of creating an armature to suit the model of a character, and it involves associating the bones in the armature with the parts of the model, or basically the body parts of our character. Now in this definition, we also have words like armature, and for those of you who don't know what an armature is, it is used to control the movement of objects or components of an object in an animation. Armatures are made up of parts which are called bones, and it may consist of a single bone or multiple bones linked together in a child-parent relationship. Now to understand this concept practically, we will be using this cube. So let's tab into the edit mode and we'll scale up the cube in the x-axis. Also, let's add some loop cuts. So press Ctrl plus R and we'll increase the number of loop cuts with the help of scroll wheel. So we'll keep the number of loop cuts to around 4 or 5, and then left click to finalize and right click to cancel the movement. Now let's return back to the object mode, and now we'll be creating an armature object. So press Shift plus A, and in this add menu, here you have the armature object. So I'll select this, and by doing this, we now have an armature object added at the world origin. To view it, I'll first hide this cube. So press H to hide it, and here we have a single bone created which is saved with the name armature in the scene collection. And now if I tab into the edit mode, then we'll be able to see the different parts of the bone. So first of all, let's go to the front view by pressing 1 on the numpad, and if I zoom in, then you can see here that this bone is made up of 3 parts. The first part is this UV sphere, which is the tail of the bone. Then we have another UV sphere which is called the head of bone, and in the middle we have this main part of the bone. By moving the head or the tail of the bone, we can basically control the shape and the size of our bone. Now to understand this in more detail, let's return back to the object mode, and let's also unhide the cube from the scene collection. Let's also turn on the X-ray mode. Now our main purpose is to add some bones to the cube that we created in order to understand about how the rigging works. So for this, we'll go to the front view, and with the bone selected, let's first move it in the X-axis and place it over here. Now tab into the edit mode, and with this tail selected, press G to move it, and we'll place our first bone like this. In this way, we have set up a single bone inside the cube which will allow us to rig our character. Now to create new bones, with the tail selected, simply press E to extrude, and by doing this, a new bone will get created. Let's do the same thing one more time, and with this we now have 3 bones which we have added inside the cube object. Now if I press Ctrl plus Tab and keep holding it, then it will show that the armature or the bone is having 3 different modes. The first is the default object mode, then the second is the edit mode where we just extruded a single bone to create multiple bones in the armature, and the third that we have is the pose mode, and in this mode Blender allows us to animate the armature or the bones, and in that animation whatever changes we'll do to the bones, like the rotation or the scaling, will also be followed by the main object, which will be the cube in this case. But right now the cube is not following the armature because we have not yet created any connection between the cube and the armature. So to solve this problem, let's first return back to the object mode by pressing Ctrl plus Tab. Let's also turn off the X-ray mode. Now I'll select this cube, and before creating a connection in between the cube and the armature, I'll first apply the subdivision surface modifier to it. So go to the modifier properties, then click on add modifier, and in the generate, select the subdivision surface modifier. With the levels viewport set to 1, I'll also apply this modifier, and by doing this, we now have the subdivided geometry, that is having a larger number of vertices added to our cube. Now with the cube selected, hold down the shift button and then select the armature, and yes, do ensure that you have selected the cube first and then the armature. Now with both of them selected, go to the object menu, then in the parent settings, here you have the option of armature deform, and in this we have 3 different types: empty groups, automatic weights, and envelope weights. In this case, we'll be selecting the automatic weights in the armature deform. And now in the scene collection over here, you can see that we no longer have the cube object name separately. Also, if I click on this drop down arrow of the armature, then inside this we have the cube stored, meaning that the cube and the armature are now having a parent-child relationship, which in simple words means that the armature will now control the structure of our cube. To understand this practically, I'll select the armature, then press Ctrl plus Tab to enter the pose mode. Let's also turn on the X-ray mode, and now with one of the bones selected, if I press R to rotate it, then you will see that the cube is also following the rotation of the bone. This is also true for all the other bones in the armature. So in simple words, we created a connection in between the armature, which is made up of bones, and the cube object, and in a similar way, the characters are also rigged in Blender. But obviously, for complex characters, it is not practically possible to create each and every bone for separate parts of the body. And so to make the character rigging easy, Blender provides us with the Rigify add-on. And to access the Rigify add-on, go to Edit and select Preferences. Then in the add-ons, go to the search bar and type Rigify, and then this add-on will appear having the name Rigify add-on. So let's turn it on. Now let's close this window, and with this, in the 3D viewport, if I press Shift plus A, then go to Armature, then it gives us the option of Rigify Meta Rigs, and in this we have the option to add the human armature. So if I select this, then now Blender has added this entire skeleton of the bones which can be used for rigging of any human character. It is saved with the name Meta Rig in the scene collection, and the benefit of using this human Meta Rig is that we don't need to create this entire skeleton system or the armature manually by extruding the bones. And so with this, we now arrive to the end of this chapter. Today we learnt about the basics of rigging and also learned to create this human Meta Rig with the help of Rigify add-on. And in the next chapter, we'll be creating the Meta Rig for the 3D character that we created in the previous chapters. And so our next chapter will be the chapter number 74, Character Rigging Meta Rig. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, press that notification bell so that you can get timely updates about the upcoming chapters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.